Hello, welcome to Magnolia. Today I want to continue the fasting series. And I wanted to talk about the differences between men and women fasting because they are different. Now what I called in the previous videos the fat burner stage and the sugar burner stage is basically called metabolically switching or metabolic switching. And that is when you're switching from burning sugar, burning that high energy we talked about, to burning the fat and the nutrients that your body stores. So you're metabolically switching. When you fast, really the goal is that right there. It's to switch metabolically to something other than just the constant repetitive increase in sugar and increase in glucose for energy. And so men metabolically switch easier or quicker than women do, and that's basically just our physiology. They're able to convert into that, to get energy, to build muscle, to have strength. And so men don't find it quite as hard once you're through the withdrawals of a fast to be able to fast at longer and longer periods. But women have many different responses to fasting based on your cycle, which is 3 different phases, based on how much fat you're carrying, even basically based on just how much you've ever fasted, and then your gut health finally. And men then is affected mostly by the fat and whether they've ever fasted and their gut health. But there's a big difference for women because women store traditionally, and physiology shows that women carry more fat than men. Men can get down to single digits and still feel vibrant and healthy. Women, it can become unhealthy if they get down that low. Now that's usually not a problem for most people, but you're going to be carrying 10 or 15% more fat than a man does and still feel and look healthy and vibrant. So when you fast, you have to take the time to figure out what works for you. And if you've never fasted, 12-hour fast, basically you sleep through most of it, and you get up and you just extend it to that. You may have headaches, it may be difficult, it may be a struggle, but if you do that every other day, twice a week, and then you increase to a 16-8 fast, and then maybe once that becomes comfortable, you increase to an 18-6, or even push it to a 24-hour water-only fast, you see what your limits and capabilities are. This is good for both men and women, but women need to find that traditionally what works for them, because it's not going to work for them if they've never fasted and they just go into a 7-day water fast. Now, if you're one of those people who your physiology allows you to metabolically switch quickly, or you're not full of toxins and heavy metals and all the other things that the environment around us increase in our bodies, you might be able to, but it's not wise to just immediately go cold turkey. You want to build yourself up to it. And so it's important that women, not more so than men, but it's important that women especially fast and build up to a more regular fasting lifestyle. And here at Magnolia, we talk about the lifestyle more than anything else. We can pump you full of supplements or suggestions, but really your lifestyle is where this is going to be the most beneficial. And so if you work your way up from a 12 to a 16 to an 18 and possibly a 24-hour water fast, and then you move on to a 36-hour water fast, you're just basically trying to switch into the metabolic state, the fat burner state. Let the toxins start to filter out of your body, and you build a lifestyle like this. And if you can find you can do it every day, then your body's going to adapt to that, so you do need to mix it up every other week or every couple weeks, but you got to find what you can do. Now, I want to talk a little bit about women specifically and their cycle. Okay, so you have 3 areas in your cycle. You have the luteal phase, you have the follicular phase, boy, you can't say that 14 times, and then you have the ovulatory phase. Okay? Those 3 phases of your cycle determine a lot about your hormone production. And those hormones get wacky because of birth control, because of chemicals in our environment, because of heavy metals, because of the fat we're carrying, it's poisoning us. High estrogen, high progesterone, high testosterone, or low of any one of those 3 can occur from just the environment you live in. And those get completely out of whack. So one of the things that you're doing with fasting is you're doing it so that you can reset that system. But it's also a challenge to fast, especially during the luteal phase. So let me break that down. So you have your first phase is the follicular phase, which is the beginning of your monthly cycle, your period, day 1. You continue that for however many days, traditionally 4 to 6 or 7, and then you go into the ovulatory phase. That ovulatory phase is when your body is preparing to drop an egg. And once it does that, then your body has to produce a baby from that egg. And so it switches into the luteal phase. When you fast, you want to fast specifically either at the end of your follicular phase or in your ovulatory phase, because your body is ramping up its energy levels. It's ramping up its production of almost everything it needs to go out and be stronger, be more fit. You'll find that women are able to think clearer. They're able to want to tend to the house. They want to tend to their jobs. They want to be busy. They want to work more so than at other times of the month. And there's a reason for that. It isn't because somebody says, oh, you're just hormonal. But the reality is, if you're healthy especially, you have 3 phases. Now, if you're in menopause and you don't have those phases, or you're in perimenopause, which is before that menopause starts, then you might have that a little bit mixed up. But fasting can still be done in all of those phases. So if you have a regular cycle, you want to fast during your luteal, or I'm sorry, that's the end of your phase, during your follicular phase or your ovulatory phase, which is the day 1 through day 14 or 15, and you want to fast the hardest. And then once you go into the luteal phase, women need to slow down, take more attention to themselves, prep more for themselves, and make sure that they're doing what it takes to reduce stress and not increase your stress load on your body. So you have another, whatever it might be there, 14 days. So it's important to think about it that way. Now, if you're in menopause, basically you start fasting and figure out what works for you. Your hormone levels are plummeting down to 0 eventually. And you want to fast along the lines of what works best for your body. In perimenopause, I suggest intermittent fasting with coming off of intermittent fasting with high protein, high natural fats. So fasting for women and men are different. We'll elaborate more on those probably in future videos, but it's important to know that a man and a woman both need to test the waters, see what works for them. You don't even have to fast from food to be healthier, really, but let's just stick with food. And then as a woman, notice where you are on, have you ever fasted? Does your lifestyle have give you a good place to fast? In other words, if you fast 16 hours of just water, and then immediately for 8 hours you eat donuts and cookies, or drink a tremendous amount of soda or something like that, or even fruit juices that are full of sugar, then you're probably not going to intermittently fast very well. So you can eat whatever you want, some people say, especially for younger women, but you need to accommodate that. And then where are you in your cycle? Your cycle can determine the beginning of your cycle. Let's just call it 1 through 14 without the names. It's great to fast. You can go through extended fasts. Your body is ramping up. Sometimes the very beginning in the follicular phase where you're having your period, it's a little more difficult because your body's losing nutrients. But at the end of the day, once you head into the luteal, which is a high progesterone type of, not type, but part of your cycle, you need to be taking care of yourself a little better, taking care of what your body needs, continuing to eat healthy and have a healthy lifestyle, but you want to reduce the hard fasts, the ones that are more aggressive. Again, if you're interested in a consult or assessment on many of these things that can help your lifestyle, we are a private practice in naturopathic health, and you can find us at magnoliahealth.store. That's where you can schedule appointments, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.